with one of the best defenses in the country. As a matter of fact, all 4 of the teams in this semifinal are in the top 7 in the country in scoring defense. But a concern for them tonight, the Nittany Lions on that side of the ball. Abdul Carter, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, has been dealing with a shoulder injury.
And he got hurt 17 plays in to the game against Boise State. And lucky for Penn State, it didn't have a huge impact, but he's going to be needed tonight against an excellent offensive line for Notre Dame. Shouldn't affect him much rushing the passer, but how will it affect him taking on blocks in the run game? That's something to watch early. And
Notre Dame with an injury concern on offense. Their star running back Jeremiah Love has been dealing with a knee problem since the last game of the regular season against USC. He's come out of each of the last 3 games.
And he really hasn't had many opportunities because that knee maybe hasn't been 100%, dealt with some flu-like symptoms against Indiana. Shouldn't have an impact on his straight line speed. We know he can take the defense to task with the type of speed he can put on display, but how will it affect him laterally, especially as he tries to cut hard off that right leg?
He's a big playmaker on a team that has been living on the big plays here late in the season, and particularly in the playoff. As we take a look at the Ram Trucks spotlight, Notre Dame opened this college football playoff at home against Indiana. The first touchdown of the new 12-team format was scored on a 98-yard run by Jeremiah Love. That was the big play of their win against IU. Then Jaden Harrison went the same distance, 98, with the second half kickoff. The biggest.
Coach, running back Jeremiah Love moved well in pregame warmups. How much do you expect him to contribute tonight?
As much as he can. As long as he can go, we're going to play him and get the ball in his hands. And he's a competitor. He's in pain, but he's going to go. He's just a tough dude that wants to be in this moment.
You told us you love to attack and be aggressive. How do you do that on defense early?
That's what we do. You know what I mean? You don't have to change what you do if that's who you are. This group is a group that plays the game the way it needs to be played. And trust me, I have a feeling they're going to go out there and be aggressive no matter what the call is.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Katie.
Thanks, Molly. Coach Franklin, Notre Dame's committed to running the football. So is their quarterback. What challenge does Riley Leonard present?
Yeah, he's a problem. He's done it all year long. We got a ton of respect for him. He's going to make some plays. We just got to grind this thing out for 4 quarters and make him earn it.
Abdul Carter was a game-time decision. What can we expect from him tonight?
Looks pretty good to me.
Yes, he did. Best of luck.
Yes, ma'am.
Riley Leonard, the star of their win against Georgia in the quarterfinal. But he'll wait as Penn State gets the ball first. Abdul Carter looks ready to go. Some final words of advice for Drew Allard as Mitch Jeter tees it up on a chilly night here in South Florida. The temperature's 57 degrees. Chilly, relatively speaking. There are a lot of people watching tonight who would love to be enjoying 57 degrees right now. Jeter returned as their kickoff man last week in the win against Georgia. Ordinarily kicks touchbacks. Nicholas Singleton back deep and no chance to run that back. So here come the Nittany Lions on offense, led by Drew Allard, the junior from Medina, Ohio, south of Cleveland, west of Akron. 2-year starter. They're 13-2 with him at the helm this year. And a 67% completion percentage is the school record. That's up by 7% over a year ago. Penn State 23-5 overall in his 2 years as their starting quarterback. The toss to Nicholas Singleton. Broke a tackle and got shoved out of bounds by Jack Kaiser after Don Schuler could not make the tackle. A 6-yard run for Singleton, a part of that running back tandem with Katron Allen, each of them 1,000 yards plus this year.
And both Singleton and Allen really complement each other extremely well. They do a great job with Singleton in speed and space, and then Allen, he gets the hard yards, very difficult to bring down at first contact.
They've been particularly effective running wide along the perimeter in this playoff. Singleton remains the back. It's a blitz and a good call. A screen against it. Nicholas Singleton across midfield. And knocked down by Christian Gray. Notre Dame brings pressure as much as any team in the country, and Penn State was ready for the blitz from Jack Kaiser.
And a terrific call by Andy Kotelnicki, acknowledging the tendency of Notre Dame to try to heat up the quarterback early and fluster his operation. They beat the pressure perfectly with a screen to the left-hand side and a big play to start.
Tyler Warren, their tight end, lines up in the Wildcat. He handed it off to Singleton. And he stopped after a 1-yard gain by the freshman cornerback Leonard Moore, who's been a standout beginning the second half of the year. They've lost a lot of players on defense, including their star cornerback Benjamin Morrison to a hip injury, and Moore, one of several who come off the bench to step in and keep it going on defense.
Yeah, and Al Golden, the defensive coordinator, is so proud of the depth and how they've responded to adversity. Lost a lot of great players that hadn't dropped off their play.
Aller throws in the direction of Omari Evans, and he got banged down by Leonard Moore. Evans can fly, and Moore greeted him just as the ball was arriving.
And it looked like Moore was trying to go for the football and try to make a play towards the interception. The Penn State sideline wanted pass interference, but because Moore was tracking the ball and the contact happened, that's why it resulted in no foul.
Al Golden coordinates the defense, one of the 5 finalists for the Broyles Award as the best assistant coach in the country this year. They line up the tight end, Warren, in the pistol for a moment, and then send him out to the right, and the flag thrown at the line of scrimmage for an illegal procedure call against Penn State.
False start, number 71, offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Venga Ioane, the left guard, called for the penalty. If Michael Vandervelde looks familiar, he should. He was the referee that led this Big 12 crew in the Notre Dame game against Georgia in the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Both these offenses really stress the importance of avoiding 3rd and long because of how good these defenses are in long yardage situations. So a tough spot here for Penn State.
2 receivers to each side. Warren has 98 catches. They throw it wide to Katron Allen, and he's gang tackled at the 44. Jack Kaiser leading the way, playing in his school record 69th game. 6th-year player, a native of Indiana. And he's one of those who told us very directly, I came back for another year because I thought we had a good enough team to win a national championship.
They have really done a great job with leadership on this Notre Dame team. Kaiser being one of those centerpieces that everybody seems to look to when things are going awry.
Riley Thompson, the punter. End over end punt, and a fair catch made by Max Hurleman. 33-yard punt. The college football playoff semifinals underway in Miami.
A NICU can be a stressful place, but Dr. Bob White, a neonatologist and professor at Notre Dame, believed there was a better way. He has convened doctors, nurses, researchers, architects, and regulators to study and gather the best practices for NICUs. Their recommendations have shaped NICUs around the world and improved outcomes for babies and their families.
Fighting for NICU babies and their families.
We are the Fighting Irish.
Notre Dame on offense for the first time tonight, led by Riley Leonard, the senior from Fairhope, Alabama. A dual threat quarterback. First player in Notre Dame history with more than 2,000 passing yards and 800 rushing yards in a season. He was their leading rusher in their victory against Georgia with 80 yards. Threw for only 90 in that game. The offense did just enough to beat the Bulldogs. The offense scored only 7 points in their 23-10 win over Georgia. They start from just beyond the 10-yard line. Easy completion to Mitchell Evans, the tight end. And he runs out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Chased out by Jalen Reed, an outstanding safety.
Both these defenses play a lot of man coverage. Jalen Reed, he's going to have a very difficult task tonight in matching up with Mitchell Evans, who at tight end has really played his best football the last few months since coming back from a knee injury a year ago.
Both Jeremiah Love and Abdul Carter are on the field. Leonard changing the play. Mike Denbrock is the offensive coordinator. Penn State blitzes. And Love runs past it for a first down. Tackled by Tony Rojas. A 5-yard gain for the sophomore from St. Louis.
And these are two teams that both really want to run the football, but they present it very differently. Notre Dame mostly between the tackles, and they involve the quarterback with Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator. And then on the other side, Penn State, they live mostly with the perimeter run game.
5 wide receivers, design run for Leonard. And Abdul Carter tackled him. The junior from Philadelphia, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year and a first-team All-American, stopped Leonard after a pickup of 2.
And you think this defensive line of Penn State is very aware of what Riley Leonard can do with his legs? Abdul Carter doesn't even think about rushing the passer on that quarterback draw, immediately collapses and makes a play for a short gain.
Carter not the only standout on this defensive front for Penn State. The defense coordinated by Tom Allen, the former head coach at Indiana. Another blitz off the corner, and Love stopped by Jalen Reed.
Abdul Carter so far, those last couple snaps, not even really moving or trying to get upfield, just watching, observing, and then collapsing. He's not just crazy athletic, but he also has great instincts rushing from that DN spot where he moved from the off-the-ball linebacker a year ago.
They'll play him all over the place. Wearing the Darth Vader stickers under his eyes. On 3rd down and 7, Leonard back, shoulder throw, caught by Mitch Evans, and he's out of bounds. They'll mark him out at the 43-yard line of Penn State. A.J. Harris had the coverage. It's 32 yards on the completion to Evans.
And it's pretty well covered, but they just create a little bit of a mesh to throw off. A.J. Harris creates just a touch of separation. It's a well-thrown back shoulder and good concentration from Evans to reel it in.
Both teams with outstanding tight ends, and each team has a great history when it comes to tight ends. Aeneas Williams, ordinarily their 3rd down running back, in on 1st down, and he got 2. Nekee Wheatley made the tackle with help from Kobe King.
And if you talk to offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, he knows that the way they played against Indiana and against Georgia is probably not going to work in a game like this. With how aggressive this defense is, they're going to have to push the ball down the field with a little more regularity. And here on the first drive, already 1 throw downfield, 1 completion downfield for the Irish offense.
Then they spread the field. And again, a Penn State blitz, and the pass batted out of the air by Amin Vanover, one of those players we were talking about who was outstanding in that win against Boise State, particularly after Carter went out of the game.
And a great read, too. He's trying to get a collision against Mitchell Evans. Had he released vertical, Vanover would have hit him and knocked him off his route, but because he went out in the flat, it drew Vanover a little wider, so he couldn't rush the passer. Instead, he jumps up and tips the pass. It's a great play.
It's 3rd down. They just converted a 3rd and 7. This one's 3rd and 8, and not in field goal range yet for Mitch Jeter. Short set by Leonard, and the pass incomplete. Intended for Evans. A.J. Harris, the transfer from Georgia, who's had an excellent first season at Penn State with blanket coverage. And the punt team comes on for Notre Dame, and of course you always have to be alert for a fake when their special teams units are out there. They've executed 2 successful fake punts this season and 1 fake field goal. James Rendell from Melbourne, Australia, is the punter. Zion Tracy back deep at his own 9-yard line. Tracy makes the fair catch at the 2. We're just outside the great city of Miami. It's the college football playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, the best seat in the house since 1925. Happy 100th anniversary to the Goodyear blimp. Looking down on Hard Rock Stadium, home of the Orange Bowl since 1996. It's had a lot of names since then. Second possession for Penn State, and they start from their own 2. Greg, back when you used to play, guys didn't catch punts inside the 10-yard line.
No, it was heels at the 10 if it goes over your head. But now with the nose down kicks and the backspin the punters can create, you back it maybe to the 5, but not at the 2. A fair catch at the 2 is a big mistake potentially.
Katron Allen is the running back. Some flinching along the line. No flags down. And Allen lost a yard. They might give him the line of scrimmage. Gabriel Rubio in there for Notre Dame. One of those who's been filling the void in the absence of Riley Mills, who is out there for the coin toss. One of their defensive captains, a great defensive tackle, who was injured in their first CFP win against Indiana.
What a loss he is. Not just physically that presence on the interior of the defensive line, but from a leadership standpoint, he was massive in the absence of Howard Cross, the defensive tackle, next to him for the better part of the month.
He had to take an RV down here for the game. Couldn't fly because of blood clots. He wanted to be here to support his teammates. Allen, the ball carrier again. They have so many players who played so many games. Saw the game totals played by Mills. The trio you've highlighted in the open of Watts, Kaiser, and Cross have combined now for 187 career games. A lot of experience on that defense, but some of that's gone out the window with injuries. And young people have stepped in and stepped in well. On 3rd down and 2, Allen, nice cut, got the first down. Looked like they might stop him behind the line of scrimmage, and he made a move to his right, got 5, and Donovan Heinisch made the tackle.
And just a great job by the offensive line, in particular left guard Ioane, just pushing out number 4, Jaden Osbury, to the outside.
And the pass incomplete, intended for Harrison Wallace III.
This offensive line is really the straw that stirs the drink for this Penn State offense. Andy Kotelnicki, when we talked to him just the other day, said that they seem to be peaking along the offensive line, especially in the run game down the stretch. Since that Ohio State loss, they have really committed to the run, and that group up front has really responded in a positive way.
The toss to Katron Allen. And he got ripped down by Drake Bowen, the big middle linebacker, 240-pounder from St. John, Indiana. 5-yard gain and another Penn State 3rd down as we're more than midway through this first quarter, no score.
And these are the down and distances that you love if you are an offensive coordinator, because at 3rd and 5 with the mobility that Drew Aller has, you can throw it or you can run it. When Aller runs, he gets north and south quickly. It can eat up space in a hurry.
Well protected, and the pass broken up, intended for Wallace, and Jordan Clark knocked it down. The transfer from Arizona State, who's had an excellent first season for the Irish, playing in their secondary.
I think both coordinators on offense were curious just how much the defensive backs were going to be able to get away with. And here in the early going, it's pretty obvious that this officiating crew from the Big 12, they're going to allow them to be physical on the perimeter, which is exactly how it should be played in the semifinal setting.
Riley Thompson, like Rendell, the Notre Dame punter, an Australian. Great coverage. Perlman hit immediately on the catch by Zion Tracy. 45-yard punt, nothing on the return. Second chance for Leonard and the Irish on offense. After this.
Big ideas have small beginnings. They seek answers in unexpected places, sparking solutions from person to person, expanding their reach, growing stronger with each new perspective, coming together to impact the world.
Taco Bell in the college football playoff are bringing the best of the regular season to the college football playoff by creating the Live Más student section. Taco Bell's provided tickets for students from both schools to come to the Capital One Orange Bowl tonight. No score. Jadarian Price is in at running back now in the second Notre Dame possession. Pressure from Abdul Carter, and it caused an errant throw by Riley Leonard.
And Carter, it's the left shoulder that's giving him fits. If you line him up on the quarterback's right side, that means the closest shoulder to contact is actually the right shoulder. So we might see him a little bit more on this side throughout the course of the game. So that left shoulder doesn't have much of an impact, but a nice rush there to force the errant throw.
And around the right tackle, Emil Wagner. Notre Dame offensive line that was not experienced to start the year. They've gotten better as the season's gone along. Play clock down to 2. Leonard with an option look, elected to keep it. He got tackled by Keziah Izzard. A gain of 3. Here's Katie George.
Yeah, Sean, Abdul Carter practiced this week. They weren't overly physical with him, though, so coaches want to see how he holds up as he continues to make contact. The test and images came back clean, but there's still a lot of discomfort in his left shoulder, so it's all about managing the pain and playing through it. So far, so good, Sean.
Indeed, Katie, thank you. He's number 2 overall on Mel Kiper's big board with an eye toward the upcoming draft behind only Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy award winner. There are flags down for some movement along the line of scrimmage.
False start, number 54. Offense, 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Anthony Knapp, the freshman left tackle out of Roswell, Georgia.
And with all the movement there by Penn State, just leans back in his stance ever so slightly, and that's going to draw the foul. And 3rd and long for Notre Dame has been a down and distance of terror for them all season long. They're the worst in the Power 4, converting less than 15% of 3rd and 7+. So they have to avoid it against an elite pass rush led by Abdul Carter.
They're not a great down the field passing team, as you said. Wide receiver by committee. And the high throws intercepted. Picked off by Zakee Wheatley. The 7th interception for the Penn State defense in their 3 college football playoff games as it went sailing over the head of Jaden Harrison. The first turnover of the game, an interception thrown by Riley Leonard.
Time now for the Chick-fil-A move on the field, and it's Abdul Carter. I mean, just one of the best game wreckers in the country at defensive end. He has an impact, doesn't make a sack, but look at the movement that he forces from Riley Leonard. Moves up in the pocket where it gets condensed. He's right in his center's behind, forces the high throw that's intercepted. They're going to have to help out Wagner, the right tackle, at some point, because so far, Abdul Carter is dominating the right side of the offensive line.
First turnover of the game, first down Penn State from the 42, and Aller under pressure threw it over the head of Nicholas Singleton. The freshman, Kingston Viliamu Asa, brought the pressure. Wheatley talking about what just transpired. He was the Fiesta Bowl defensive player of the game for his performance against Boise State. He had an interception. They had 3 interceptions in the 4th quarter against Boise State to seal that win. We now have 8 takeaways. in their 3 games, really 2 games plus in this playoff. Middle tight end screen. Tyler Warren lowers his head and ran over fellow All-American Xavier Watts for a 13-yard gain.
And they finally get Warren started in the second blitz now that Penn State is hit for a big play.
Nicholas Singleton, as they go with tempo, they intersperse the up-tempo pace. Every now and then a 4-yard gain. Jalen Snead made the tackle, and Penn State's lining up quickly again.
This tempo, when you change it up, it just makes the defense feel so uncomfortable pre-snap.
Allard for Warren, and just over his head. Jaden Osbury had the coverage. Job one tonight, Al Golden said, is to deal with Warren. And he said when he watched tapes of previous Penn State games, Warren's great at finding the soft spots on the field. They're going to try to make sure there aren't any soft spots. They're going to keep a body on him for as long as they can, down after down.
At this stage of his development, he is so good in so many phases. He reminds the coaching staff at Penn State of George Kittle, just very well rounded, but against zone is where he does most of his damage. And the Irish, they major in playing man-to-man coverage throughout the game.
Here's Singleton running right. They're getting some good push on that offensive line. Jaden Osbury made the tackle. 4-yard gain. Singleton and Allen, each 1,000-yard rushers. Of course, there are some numbers that need context. Penn State is playing in its school record 16th game of the season, where they still each got over 1,000 in that win against Boise State. 4th down, and they're going for it with 2 yards to go.
You would imagine this will be a handoff up inside behind the left side of this offensive line. They're big and physical, and that's the side that can road grade in short yardage situations.
Sometimes they send Warren in motion. This time they sent Singleton in motion. He got the ball and got the first down to the Irish 29-yard line. A 9-yard gain on 4th down and 2.
And look how many defenders are on this side of the center. Why? Because that's the tendency from Penn State. They love running behind the left side of their offensive line. This is Andy Kolonicki, the offensive coordinator, acknowledging a tendency and then breaking that tendency in a massive game. That's a great call and nice execution for the conversion.
First year at Penn State for Kolonicki, 43-year-old Minnesota native. A juggle by Katron Allen. He got it back and made his way for 6 yards.
That was awkward for a minute. They had that bobbled exchange against Boise State that squandered the early domination, and that time wasn't the exchange. It was really just Allen, as he was trying to secure it in his right arm, and almost got away from him.
Allen 25 yards rushing. Tonight he's just moved past Matt Suhey for 12th all-time in career rushing yards at Penn State. It's 2,819. Allard on 2nd and 3. On the run, good throw. And a first down. The catch made by Luke Reynolds, who they think is going to be the next great tight end, a true freshman from Westford, Massachusetts, a 7-yard gain.
That's what's so difficult about defending this Penn State offense. They really have 3 tight ends that can be impactful in the passing game. Warren, we all know, but Dinkins and Reynolds can also be very effective here in the red zone.
And they're in the red zone with a first down at the Notre Dame 15. They put Warren, who was a high school quarterback, in the gun. It's Singleton again. Jack Kaiser and Howard crossed there. And Greg, one thing that stands out for me watching from the press box, this Penn State offensive line is pushing the Notre Dame defense back, and we haven't seen that in this playoff so far.
No, the size is just moving and reestablishing the line of scrimmage.
Allard to throw, and it's over the head of Singleton. He's an excellent receiver. 39 catches entering tonight, 3rd on their team. Leonard Moore had the coverage.
Now inside the 10, an interesting decision for James Franklin. Probably talking to his offensive coordinator, thinking, hey, you get 3 yards here, it's a green light special. You're going to go for it on 4th down. They like to use analytics, but they're also probably seeing what you just referenced, Sean. This offensive line is getting movement along the front. So if you have them on their heels, lean in and give them 2 downs to get it here on 3rd and 4.
11th play of the drive. Trying to capitalize on the takeaway. Aller, back corner of the end zone with a flag down. It is picked off by Christian Gray, but there is a flag down.
Prior to the pass, holding. Number 29, defense. After this is to the goal, automatic first down.
Well, instead of an interception for Gray, it's a penalty that gives Penn State 1st and goal inside the 5.
And it's right at the point as Wallace is trying to release to the outside. Gray grabs that jersey, and it's an easy call for the official.
A huge penalty and a good call. And 1st and goal for the Nittany Lions from the 4. Katron Allen stood up at the 1-yard line and driven back. Viliamuasa leading the way for the Irish defense.
Can't imagine Andy Kotelnicki trying to do anything too creative down here. Now, he's known for his creativity, and he's always got a bunch of things in his bag of tricks, but with the movement they're getting up front, hand it to Tyler Allen, see if he run it.
For a minute they had Warren lined up like he was going to be the quarterback in the pistol. The handoff to Allen, and he's dropped behind the line of scrimmage by Joshua Burnham. And that's the end of the 1st quarter. No score, but Penn State is knocking on the door. This is the college football playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Coach Franklin, you force a takeaway. Your offense is putting together a physical drive. What do you need to do to punch it in here?
Yeah, we're going to have to finish here. They're a really good red zone defense. We're going to have to find a way to get it in, either obviously creating some advantages in the passing game or in the running game, even the numbers out a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Saw the number 1 and 14 all time against the AP top 5. Notre Dame is number 3. Penn State trying to score first. 3rd down and goal. From the 3-yard line, Aller in the flat. It's dropped by Nicholas Singleton. He was open. It wasn't a perfect throw, but it's one ordinarily that Singleton would catch.
And that's just a missed throw inside and low on Singleton. If that ball's out in front, right on the face mask, NFL level accuracy, he falls forward in the end zone, no questions asked. Big break there for Notre Dame.
Marcus Freeman knows they got lucky. There's a 20-yard field goal try by the redshirt freshman Ryan Barker. And a timeout called
Notre Dame has called their first charge timeout
by Marcus Freeman.
30 seconds in late.
So this is the first college football playoff semifinal, and this is the first year of the 12-team field. The other semifinal is tomorrow night, 7:30, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic from icy and snowy Dallas. Ohio State and Texas, 4th meeting ever between these 2 programs. And Jeremiah Smith has led the way for Ohio State. They've been the best team in this playoff so far. 13 catches in their 2 wins against Tennessee and Oregon. And he's the one who got them off to the great start against the #1 team in the country, the previously undefeated Ducks, in the quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl. Well, Barker was not the kicker at the start of the year. He took over when Sanders Sahadak struggled. And he's been excellent. And that's a gimme from 20 yards out. So Penn State takes the lead in the opening seconds of the second quarter after the first scoreless first quarter of an Orange Bowl since 2007 when Wake Forest battled Louisville. This season, All-State celebrating every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. (3-0) Penn State. Riley Leonard and this offense for Notre Dame, Greg, they've really struggled for a while. They are still one of the top scoring teams in the country. They're averaging 38 points per game. That's fourth in the country, but just 27 against Indiana in the opening round win. 98 yards on one play by Love, and then 23 points in the semifinal against Georgia, but only 7 of those from the offense with a touchdown. They kicked 3 field goals and had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Looks like they're going to need to get more from their offense tonight if they're going to beat this very good Penn State team.
And it starts up front. I mean, they have to help out their tackles against Abdul Carter. So far, he has completely wrecked the game for the Irish offense, and they also need to find a way to get the run game going because Riley Leonard dropping back to pass 40 times in this game is not a winning recipe.
Gabriel Wosu kicks off. And it's over the head of Jaden Harrison. Here's Molly McGrath on the Notre Dame sideline.
Well, Greg mentioned the run game. Running back Jeremiah Love moved really well during pregame warmups without that brace on his right knee. He told us pregame he planned to put it on last minute as a precaution, but said he feels really good, will do whatever his team needs to win, and he feels that he can still be explosive and make an impact. But his one rule tonight, no hurdling, which I'm sure his coaches appreciate, guys. They definitely need some momentum with their run game here.
5 times this season he's gone leaping over would-be tacklers. He actually aggravated that knee injury by doing that against Indiana in round 1. Jarian Price is in on first down, and he got smothered. Smith Vilbert, a backup defensive end. Part of that deep and talented defensive line, 50-year senior.
So much of the conversation is centered all week around whether or not Abdul Carter can go, and what's been lost is that they played 3 quarters against a great rushing football team in Boise State just a week and change ago with mostly their depth, and those guys really stepped up, and Vilbert one of them.
They held Ashton Genty, the nation's leading rusher, to 104 yards, his lowest total of the year. And it took him 30 carries to get it. Lots of running room for Price. And he's down close to the first down. Going to mark him back at the 23. It'll be 3rd down and 2 after a 12-yard run for the junior from Denison, Texas.
And just an odd move there by Penn State. Not on the same page. 2 defensive linemen moving in the same direction. And there's nobody there in the gap, which allowed Price plenty of room to make this 3rd and short.
Leonard always a threat to run on 3rd down. It's a design run for him. And he lunges and uses that 6'4" frame to pick up the first down. You know, he's an effective runner, and even he admitted he's not sure how he does it. You know, he's not the speediest guy. He doesn't have a lot of moves. But he's effective. Anthony Knapp, their left tackle, is injured. And there's a timeout on the field. 3-0 Penn State, less than 2 minutes gone by, second quarter. Well, big development here. Anthony Knapp, their starting left tackle, has limped off. He got rolled up on at the end of that run by Riley Leonard. So Tosh Baker is in, a grad student from beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, playing in his 47th career game, but he hasn't played a lot. He's played 60 snaps all season. And only one since their Florida State game back in early November, and that was a kneel down on the last play of their win at USC in the regular season finale.
Reset the game clock to 13:23.
And what could be potentially significant is now that Baker is potentially in, knowing that Knapp is banged up, is just how good the edge rushers are. Denied Dennis Sutton now will be going against a backup, and he's got to be licking his chops.
I mentioned earlier, Mike Denbrock said it's an offensive line that has improved. And one of the reasons why it has improved is it's basically been the same 5 guys from left to right. Knapp, Billy Schrout, Pat Coogan the center, Rocco Spindler the right guard, and Emil Wagner. And they've developed a nice cohesiveness and just benefited from playing. Aeneas Williams, the running back, on 1st and 10. 2 minutes gone by, second quarter, 3-0 Penn State. Snap was a bit of a floater, and Leonard got it off to Chris Mitchell. Transfer from FIU, did not have a catch in their win against Georgia.
And these are things that Mike Denbrock can do to help that offensive line if they're struggling a little bit. Move the pocket, allow Riley Leonard to change the launch point. The pass rushers know where you're going to be. They can tee off, but if you're on the move, it's hard for them to guess pre-snap. So changing the launch point, something they're probably going to lean into moving forward.
They bring Carter from way outside to Leonard's left. He pursues Leonard from behind. It looks like Riley got the first down. Run down by Tony Rojas, a sophomore linebacker from Fairfax, Virginia.
Everyone you talk to associated with Notre Dame program commends Riley Leonard for his toughness and his leadership. It was on display right there, lowering that right shoulder, picking up the extra yardage.
Jeremiah Love back in. He's had just 2 carries. And has now had just 16 carries in the 3 games in this playoff. Bothered by the flu against Indiana and the knee injury. They hand it off to him, and after a sputtering start, he crosses midfield and was upended by Zaki Wheatley after a 5-yard gain.
That run in particular right there, put that right foot in the ground and tried to initiate a spin move, and you can tell Jeremiah Love very confident in that right knee, albeit maybe not at 100%.
They sent him out wide as they have a bunch of 4 receivers to the left of Riley Leonard. Design run for him. They tried to spread people out, give him some running room, and it didn't work. Wheatley again, as James Franklin said, has really made a name for himself in this college football playoff. A loss of 4.
Well, it looks good for quarterback draw when there's 5 in the box, but here's the problem. Wheatley's eyes are on Riley Leonard the whole time. He sees it and closes immediately. If you talk to Tom Allen, the defensive coordinator, he said there will not be a snap all night where a second-level defender will not have eyes on the quarterback. That was good execution there by the Penn State defense.
They'll have linebackers keeping their eyes on Leonard throughout, and secondary members. 3rd down and 10. Play clock running out, down to 1. And they just did get it off. It's a screen for Jaden Greathouse. And he stopped at the 49-yard line after a gain of 3, well short of the first down. And the punting team is about to come back on for Notre Dame.
And it's hard to drop back as a quarterback and be aggressive downfield when you're not trusting your protection entirely. So they're going to have to sort out the protection and start taking some shots downfield, because this stuff inside of 5 yards is not going to be effective against a group that's this talented defensively.
James Rendell punt. Zion Tracy, fair catch this time at the 10-yard line. 41-yard punt. 3-0 Nittany Lions. We're in the second quarter in Miami. Well, we talked at the top of the telecast about these being 2 excellent defensive teams, and the defense controlling the evening so far. Penn State 104 yards and 75 for Notre Dame, and just 3 points on the board. Nittany Lions from their own 10. Drew Aller after the fake, a wheel route. Singleton was open and the ball's over his head. Jaden Osbury, the linebacker, trying to run with him.
That's That's now 2 missed throws by Drew Allard to the running back. Both might have been touchdowns, so that one would have gone for 90 yards. He's been so good throughout this playoff on downfield throws, but so far tonight, a little off the mark, with the exception of the 2 screens to start the game.
His accuracy much improved this year under Andy Kotelnicki. Become more of a running threat, and he's become more of a vocal team leader as well. Here's Katron Allen spinning his way for a first down across the 30. They're going to mark it right at the 30 for a 20-yard pickup and a Penn State first down.
And I love so much how the center here, Dawkins, works to the next level.
Katron Allen, as they go quickly again, ducked ahead for 2. He's a junior from Norfolk, Virginia.
That has been such a huge point of emphasis for Andy Kotelnicki in this offense is creating explosive plays. Now they think explosive plays are big throws downfield, not necessarily. Anything that goes for 10 yards or more on the ground is also considered explosive, so they've done a great job improving in that area throughout the course of the season.
Tyler Warren again lines up. He was recruited as a quarterback by many schools, originally committed to Virginia Tech. And he runs for a first down. You talk about explosive plays. That's a 12-yard run. That's one of the biggest reasons Andy Kotelnicki was brought over from Kansas. James Franklin said we've been playing good offense in recent years, but we weren't explosive enough. So he did his study of coaches around the country, realized that Kotelnicki had a track record of producing explosive plays at Kansas. Before that at Buffalo. And now Warren was lined up to throw it. He stiff arms Osbury away, runs away from Heinisch, and almost has a first down. He might have it. They're going to mark him just about a yard short. Well, Marcus Freeman said he might be the best player in any position in the country. Hard to argue.
I'm not sure anybody could push back on that. Tremendous stiff arm by Osbury, and what looked like it was going to be a broken play. The AT&T connected cam shows that you're just out of bounds for the first down. Now might give your offense a chance to take a shot here downfield.
Warren, the first Penn State tight end to win the Mackey Award as the best tight end of the country. He has 99 catches this season, the single season Penn State record. And he can run, he can throw. Singleton runs for a first down. We talked at the top about all the weapons they have, and Andy Kotelnicki's using all of them.
He's got this defense on skates right now. They have no answer for the perimeter run game.
Just barely getting lined up as Penn State snapped the ball. All kinds of time and room for Allard. And he runs out of bounds. He's a junior. He said about a month ago he intends to come back next year. But with his play of late, NFL people paying more attention. And when we revisited that with him in our Zoom call yesterday, he said that's something he's going to think about when the year's over. Focused on trying to win a national title, and then he'll decide what's next. But he did not commit to definitely staying, nor did he say I'm definitely leaving.
And at 20 years old, I mean, he's got all the tools you could want in a potential franchise quarterback.
6'5", 236 pounds. Katron Allen to the 24 and a first down. It's a Notre Dame defense on its heels, something Irish fans have not seen much of this season. And the pace seems to be bothering them as well. Allen tackled at the 19-yard line by Rod Hurd, the transfer from Northwestern.
You have to wonder, this Notre Dame defense has played so beautifully, but you have to wonder if the size is finally starting to wear down Al Golden's front. Without Riley Mills in the middle, they're undersized along the defensive line.
Allen could not break the tackle. This is a very good Notre Dame tackling team, as are the Nittany Lions. That was Jalen Sneed, a junior from Hilton Head, South Carolina. And here's 3rd down and 5. without Riley Mills. They played very well against Georgia without him. Held the SEC champs to 278 total yards. Under 5 minutes to go in the half. They run away from a blitz, and it's Singleton taken down about 2 yards short of the first down, and a decision to make for James Franklin. He does use analytics heavily, but he says not always. And he's going to go for this first down on 4th and 2.
And I like the call, especially with how the offensive line has played so far and the movement they're getting up front. I like handing it right now to Katron Allen or using Tyler Warren in some type of wildcat quarterback situation.
1 for 1 on 4th down tonight. Quick throw to Warren and a first down. And again, the creativity and the variety from Andy Kotelnicki.
And a great block, too, by Julian Fleming, number 3. He's engaged with Xavier Watts, the All-American. He has the key block at the point of the bunch. And Warren falls forward as a result of that great effort by his wideout.
His 100th catch of the season. 1st and 10, they're at the 12. Allen 5 out of 13 for 53. Singleton lost his helmet as he got taken down at the 7. A 5-yard pickup for the junior from Shillington, Pennsylvania.
Big collision there as Howard Cross comes in from the left-hand side and knocks that helmet free. And this perimeter run game, this athletic Notre Dame defensive front is moving so much laterally. It's allowing these running backs to put their foot in the ground and go vertical. And so far, Notre Dame has no answer.
14th play of the drive. They've had the ball for more than 6 minutes. Katron Allen ran into Jack Kaiser at the 5-yard line. Rod Hurd there as well.
Shown that up inside run a couple times. You got to be kind of thinking in the back of your head. Alert for the bootleg. Alert for the fake handoff. Boot Aller out to the right-hand side and see if he can catch a guy in the flat. So keep your head on a swivel if you're Notre Dame defensively.
So many options for this Penn State offense. Just 1 out of 6 on 3rd down. They gave it to Singleton, the motion man. Touchdown, Penn State.
And a terrific effort by Singleton. Is he up all the way as the ball crosses the plane? Looks like he is. Just a terrific drive from Penn State. 15 plays, 90 yards, 7 minutes off the clock. Just physically dominating the Fighting Irish.
Singleton's 40th career touchdown. Only Saquon Barkley and Lydell Mitchell have more in Penn State history. The extra point good by Ryan Barker. Penn State leads 10-0 with 2:18 to go in the first half. The College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T comes your way Monday. That's January 20th, 7:30 right here on ESPN from Atlanta. Also megacast coverage that night. A field pass with Pat McAfee on ESPN2. You can attend the College Football Playoff National Championship game with Playoff Premium, the official premium hospitality program. Visit playoffpremium.com to book today. First half controlled by Penn State. They've had back-to-back drives of 14 plays plus for the first time since 2012 in the game against Northwestern.
I got something coming up. Something kind of big.
This fall, Glenn Powell is Chad Powers, the new face of Second Chances. From executive producers Eli and Peyton Manning comes Chad Powers, only on Hulu this fall. 2:18 to go in the half, 2 timeouts, and a 2-minute stoppage for Notre Dame. Offense that's gone flat. Leonard dumps it off for Aeneas Williams. He got 8. They'll go quickly to the line.
Sean, left tackle Anthony Knapp could hardly put any weight on his left ankle. They put a Takeo brace on his ankle, which was invented by their head trainer Mike Bean. And even with the brace on, he's having a hard time walking, guys.
So Tosh Baker is still in there at left tackle. They were struggling with this defensive front when Knapp was in there. 2 minutes to go, first half. 10-0 Penn State in the college football playoff semifinal. College football playoff bracket is brought to you by AT&T. Penn State and Notre Dame here in the first semifinal, and tomorrow night in Arlington, Texas, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Texas and Ohio State.
That's going to be an incredible matchup. Ohio State is playing better than anybody could have imagined this year, but Texas coming off a bit of a wake-up call against Arizona State. I'd be surprised they didn't play well tomorrow night.
On 2nd and 1, a completion to Mitchell Evans to the 40-yard line, 6 yards and a first down. Jalen Kimber, the cornerback, made the tackle.
Riley Leonard here, 2-minute operation, obvious passing situation. Got to get the ball out quick to avoid the quick pass rush.
And they find a wide receiver who can make a play for them under duress again, and this time from Zane Durant. And Tom Allen was talking about how disruptive he's been. He was disruptive again.
Yeah, he really got after the right side of the offensive line. Rocco Spindler, and a big shot taken by Riley Leonard down to the ground. Lands awkwardly on that right side.
More bad news for Riley Leonard. The offensive line in front of him dealing with another injury as Rocco Spindler helped to his feet. He played through an ankle injury against Georgia, left the Indiana game in the second half, and Sam Pendleton came in, and Steve Angeli, the backup quarterback, is warming up.
They have confidence in Steve Angeli, much more of a pocket passer than Riley Leonard, but at this point now down 2 offensive linemen. Your left tackle goes down early with an ankle injury. Now your right guard limps off. It's hard to be super aggressive if you're Mike Denbrock.
Riley Leonard told by the officials he needs to go out, and you could see he was wobbling at the end of that play. A good catch by the officials, so he's gone off the field into the concussion protocol. And you saw Angeli, they think a very capable backup. He was outstanding in their Sun Bowl win and last season against Oregon State. A tough task here. In his first pass, a high ball caught by Aeneas Williams, who walked the sideline and went out at the 45 for a pickup of 5. Angeli's a junior from Westfield, New Jersey. Was likely to be their starting quarterback had they not gone into the transfer portal at the end of last season for Riley Leonard, who came over from Duke.
It'll be a big part of the competition here in the spring to see who will ultimately replace Riley Leonard. But here, how aggressive do you get if you're Mike Denbrock?
Charles Jog, you saw, is in at right guard. He's missed a lot of the year due to injury. Nice throw and catch. Jordan Faison. His first catch of the night. He'd been the primary wide receiver target for Notre Dame. He had 11 catches in the first 2 games of this playoff. That one goes for 14. It's the 3rd catch by a wide receiver. Angeli clubbed down. Denied. Dennis Sutton knocked the ball out. The Lions think they have it. No signal yet from the officials. Devon J. Thomas was at the bottom of the pile for Penn State. They didn't get the ball. As Michael Vandervelde signals second down for Notre Dame.
Almost disaster there for the Irish. With pressure off the blind side of the quarterback. They delivered that pressure and forced the fumble to change the game against Georgia. This time nearly on the receiving end of a giveaway at the end of the half. Just a tough spot for the backup left tackle Tosh Baker to be in. Working against a great pass rusher in his own right and denied Dennis Sutton.
That play credited as a sack, the second for Penn State. And all kinds of problems for Notre Dame. The backup quarterback in and 2 backup offensive linemen. Mercedes-Benz halftime report moments away. Reese, Kirk, Desmond, and Coach Saban have highlights of this one. And they'll preview tomorrow night's other semifinal, which Herbstreit will call with Chris Fowler, Laura Rutledge, and Holly Rowe tomorrow night. Irish, even with the depletions to the lineup, on the move here. And Jelly for Williams, a juggling catch. He's down just short of the first down with a 12-yard gain.
Big thing here for Angeli. You cannot take a sack. You're right on the fringe of field goal range, but a sack could knock you out.
Williams stays in 50 seconds and 1 timeout. And Jelly to Evans, who has the first down and gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Zaki Wheatley there for Penn State.
Gotta love what you're seeing right now from Steve Angeli. Great rhythm with how he's getting rid of the football. He's been decisive and pretty accurate so far on these first couple throws.
9th play of the drive. Best looking drive of the night for Marcus Freeman.
Gotta be anticipating pressure though from defensive coordinator Tom Allen to see if they can knock you out of field goal range with the sack.
4-man rush. They have Carter around the neck, and it's thrown away by Angeli in the general direction of Jaden Greathouse. And Carter's been a force. Abdul playing through the left shoulder injury, and he's coming off the field now for Amin Vanover.
That's got to be a sigh of relief for the right tackle Wagner, who's had his hands full, has responded better here in the second quarter.
That was the first incompletion for Angeli. 4 out of 5 now for 36 yards. Blitz up the middle. Williams got in the way. The catch made by Greathouse, but a short gain, and the clock's running. Zaki Wheatley right there on the catch. He's having another terrific game.
Don't want to call timeout here. Get up the line, save that timeout for your kicker, but try and take a shot if you can. You got a guy open in the slot.
Jelly playing with poise. Timeout called by Penn State. Marcus Freeman's offense has something going for the first time tonight. And Greg, for as much as it feels like Penn State has outplayed Notre Dame for most of this half, and the Lions have, if Notre Dame could get a score here, it's a 1-score game going into halftime.
Yeah, and they get the ball to start the second half too, so a big opportunity here for the Fighting Irish. And it's interesting now too, all throughout the week, Penn State has been preparing for quarterback run and a mobile quarterback. Well, in goes the more pocket passer, and the defense looks discombobulated. This is the first time they've kind of been on their heels, and you have to wonder, how much does their defensive plan change now that the quarterback's legs are no longer a threat?
Carter back on the field. And here comes the 11th play of the Notre Dame drive. 3rd down and 6. They're at the Penn State 24.
Keep an eye on Carter. He's at the second level. He's there for a reason. You do not want a running back responsible for him in protection.
Now they show blitz, and Jelly checks, and Penn State responds. The ball was never snapped. All kinds of movement on both sides. Pat Coogan still had the football. Then a penalty-free first half. Just 3 assessed prior to this. 2 against Notre Dame and 1 5-yard penalty on Penn State.
Offside, number 33. Defense jumped into the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And Marcus Freeman was talking to the officials earlier about that. He thought the Penn State players were trying to cause his offensive lineman to flinch. So that's a big play. Now it's just 3rd down and 1.
A moment ago, Tom Allen, the defensive coordinator, showing all-out pressure. If they do that again, watch out for Neas Williams, the running back, to slip out in the flat where he might be uncovered.
Mitchell Evans, the motion man. Pressure from Carter. There is Aeneas Williams, and he got the first down and got out of bounds. Swung out by Elliott Washington, a backup cornerback. So 1st down, 16 seconds in the half, and 1 timeout.
Now, you know, if you're Steve Angeli, hasn't played a ridiculous amount of football, but you have to imagine at this point of the field, they're conceding the field goal. You're expecting the defense to drop out and try to play zone and force you to throw it into a tight window. So don't get too aggressive if you're the backup quarterback.
Angeli just seems as cool as can be. Had to contest with a high snap. Did well to handle, but that threw off the whole play. And Abdul Carter got there for the 3rd Lions sack. And it looks like Notre Dame will use the timeout to kick a field goal in the final seconds of the half.
And this is a great job by Angeli, because he does not have firm control of the errant snap way off to the right. It looks like he's trying to throw it, but somehow, miraculously, he's strong enough to hold on to it, as one of the best edge presences in the country is trying to rip at that football. Very fortunate that ball wasn't fumbled.
And it's so impressive to me, Abdul Carter, what he's doing, rushing from his left end of the line so often with the bad left shoulder. It's like it's a one-handed rush. I mean, he's just kind of waving that left arm by his side as he turns the corner.
He's that good, where with one arm he's still better than most, but that's why he's on the left side. So that right arm's the one that becomes engaged more often than the left.
So here's Mitch Jeter. Those numbers in the regular season impacted by a groin injury. He came into this playoff having missed 3 in a row and 4 of his previous 5, but here in the playoff he's 5 out of 6, including 3 out of 3 against Georgia. All of those were from 44 plus. This is from 41 to give them some momentum heading into the half. And it is good. His dad Andrew, the chiropractor, helped him recover from that groin injury, capturing the moment. The big turn of events with Leonard in the concussion protocol with 2 backup offensive linemen on the field. Steve Angeli calmly stepped into the fray and led them down the field. Here's Molly.
Coach, what can you tell us about the health and status of quarterback Riley Leonard?
I haven't heard. They're going to check him out right now. They just told me right before the field goal they don't have an answer right now what it's going to be. So
if he can't go, how does that change things?
You know, I mean, the game plan will still be the same. We'll have less quarterback design runs, but we're confident in Steve. If Steve has to go, if Riley can go, we're confident in Riley. We just got to be able to run the ball. We got to run the ball, and we got to stop the run. That's something we're not doing right now. And we got to tackle, man. They're rushing better than we're tackling, and we got to get that fixed.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Katie.
Thanks, Molly. Coach, you're able to get the stop there just before half. How would you assess your team's play so far?
Well, that was big for them to get some points at the end of the half. The middle 8 will be big because they won the toss and deferred, so that'll be really important. But overall, very good first half of football, but we're going to have to finish. It's going to be a 4-quarter game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James Franklin's team rushed for 141 yards against Notre Dame in the half, more than the Irish give up per game this season. The Mercedes-Benz halftime report after these messages. This is the college football playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl from Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida. At the half, Penn State leading Notre Dame 10-3. So look at the first half stats presented by Ram Trucks. Big statistical advantage for Penn State and just 15 yards rushing for Notre Dame, with an ineffective Jeremiah Love bothered by a knee injury. Riley Leonard dinged up in that first half. Molly McGrath.
Yeah, Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman confirmed that quarterback Riley Leonard was evaluated for a concussion and was asymptomatic, so he will return in this second half. Their left tackle Anthony Knapp is out with an ankle sprain. Right guard Rocco Spindler, though, will return, and they emphasize being aggressive in the run game, and Freeman told his team, do not panic. This is only a 7-point game. They're up 1-0 in the turnover margin, and you're only down 7. You're lucky we can come back in this thing, guys.
He's been so effective, particularly with his running skills. 6 for 11 passing tonight. And credit Steve Angeli. He came off the bench, went 6 out of 7 for 45 yards, marched them down the field and got them in the position for that field goal to end the half.
I think they unlocked something with Steve Angeli at quarterback too. They realized the quick passing attack can be effective against this pass rush and against this secondary. So now Riley Leonard, he's going to have to use the same playbook that Angeli used by being more decisive in the passing game and more accurate on the underneath throws.
Notre Dame will get the ball first. Gabriel Wosu's kickoff is a touchback. Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy. And Riley Leonard's been their guy all year, right? He's the one who got him there, so no question you go back with him.
I think so, and unless he starts to become ineffective, because right now the path of least resistance for Notre Dame is going to be through the air. They're just having a really tough time getting any movement in the run game, so they're going to have to trust these wide receivers and tight ends and find some matchups against a secondary that was locked down for a majority of the first half.
Jeremiah Love is on the field. He just had 3 carries for 10 yards in the first half. He has carried the ball in the 3 games in this playoff only 17 times. Clearly limited by the knee injury. And a whistle. And a flag.
Delayed game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's about as bad a way as you could start a half. Out of the timeout, a delay a game before you snap the ball once.
Yeah, that's just so frustrating for Marcus Freeman. A team that does all the little things up to this point have had some uncharacteristic mistakes that have put them behind the sticks tonight.
They're not used to playing from behind lately. They went 6 games in a row for the second half of the season without trailing at all. Jeremiah Love, the ball carrier, banged down by A.J. Harris, and Zakee Wheatley, a gain of 6 for Marcus Freeman. First time they've trailed in the second half since their only loss of the year. That shocking defeat in week 2 to Northern Illinois. They've won 12 in a row since, the last 9 by double figures. Longest such streak in Notre Dame history. Love staggers close to a first down.
So far, just 2 snaps into the second half. I like already the adjustments that Notre Dame has made in the run game. That's now 2 carries in a row where Jeremiah Love just said, forget about it. I'm going full speed at the line of scrimmage, and I'm just going to kind of break off where those defenders are, as opposed to kind of waiting for a hole to open up when it might not against this defense.
Well, clearly determined to get him going, and he is going. Lunging for another first down. Well, they're going to mark it, it seems, just shy of the 45 for a 9-yard gain.
Little misdirection, too, where he starts on the left-hand side, works into the quarterback, feeling as though it might go across the quarterback to the right, and bends it back to the left. But I love how hard he's hitting the hole in these first 3 carries of the second half.
After 10 yards total in the first half on 3 carries, 3 carries for 24 yards to start this half. Trying to run away from pressure coming from their right to Darian Price this time.
So much about this offensive line all season long. They've been great in the run game because of how well they've played from guard to guard. The tackles have been really good, but I think going north and south against this Penn State team, that's where they might find some bubbles and they might find some opportunities. Let's see if they keep leaning into that right up the middle of this offensive line.
Still playing without two starters along that offensive line. Leonard has a man open. Nice catch over the shoulder. Aeneas Williams. And the biggest play of the night for the Irish to the 19-yard line with the linebacker Kobe King in coverage, a gain of 36.
And man, as a quarterback, do you love that matchup. You see a middle linebacker who's 250 pounds playing corner against a really well-rounded Williams. Double move, breaks to the inside, gets behind him. It's a perfectly placed ball by Riley Leonard.
Williams, room off left tackle, inside the 5. Jalen Reed saved the touchdown. Williams was a nice role player in the regular season, but he has really emerged as an important player here in the playoff. A freshman from Hannibal, Missouri. 15 yards on that play. After being dominated for much of the night, they're poised to tie it on 1st and goal from the 4. Riley Leonard got to the 2, and he's driving, but they had blown the whistles. They're going to mark it back at the 3-yard line, actually. Irish fans don't like it. Leonard has 15 rushing touchdowns this year. That is the Notre Dame record by a quarterback. 34 in his career. And only Bryson Daly of Army has more among active players with 38.
If they're going to run it, it's likely going to be in his hands as part of the field, but also be alert for the tight ends. Their usage has gone up drastically in this part of the field if they don't run the quarterback.
Love also a touchdown score, 16 yards rushing. He leads the way, blocking. Riley Leonard, a touchdown.
And what a start for this Notre Dame offense, and the offensive line in particular. Misdirection all the way down the field. It's a great kick-out block from right to left, and they also have a little bit of a nice rub there by Jeremiah Love to give Leonard just enough room to cross the goal line. Terrific start to the second half for the Irish.
Like Denbrock made an effort to try to get the running game going. Jeremiah Love got them started. Leonard finished it, and Mitch Jeter's extra point has tied this college football playoff semifinal at 10. Riley Leonard doesn't want this to be his last college game. Notre Dame realizing they weren't going to win the game if they couldn't get the ground game going after 15 yards rushing in the first half. 44 on the opening drive of the second half. They ran 8 plays. 7 of them were rushes, including the touchdown by Leonard. The one pass was the big play of the drive, the 36-yard pass, Leonard to Aeneas Williams. Williams accounted for 51 total yards of the 75 on the drive. So it's a tie game, and here's Mitch Jeter to kick it off with Nick Singleton back deep. Returnable from the 1, and he's going to try it. And they stop him shy of the 25-yard line at the 22. 21-yard returners Katie George on the Penn State sideline.
Well, as you guys could imagine, Penn State's really pleased with the offensive line play so far, as well as the production they've gotten from their running backs. But James Franklin said coming out of the locker room, they need to get Drew Aller a couple of easy throws here to start this drive. Let him gain his confidence so he can find a rhythm. They want more balance offensively here in the second half, Sean.
Katie, thank you. Aller just 5 out of 13 for 53 yards in that first half. Carried once for 5 yards. They've done it on the ground, 141 yards rushing. Katron Allen, part of that duo, the only running back duo in the country this year that each player rushed for 1,000 yards, and they're the first running back duo to do that in Penn State history.
You know they're going to continue to give those guys plenty of touches. They're excellent. They're on the perimeter run game, but I would imagine that Notre Dame is going to now sell out against the run, which, like Katie said, puts the emphasis back on the shoulders of Drew Aller by being accurate in the passing game.
Tyler Warren looked like he might line up as the Wildcat quarterback. He goes in motion. Sometimes they motion him and he goes under center. Aller throws it in his direction. He backpedals for an extra yard or two, wrestled out by Xavier Watts. 6-yard completion to Warren, a senior from Mechanicsville, Virginia, who finished 7th in the Heisman Trophy voting. That's the highest finish by a tight end since Notre Dame's Ken McAfee finished 3rd in 1977. Earl Campbell won it that year. Great tight ends in both of these programs. They are 1 and 2 all time in tight ends drafted. Here's Allen deep, handoff, and Notre Dame stops him. They get a touchdown and they get a 3 and perhaps out. Hard to believe James Franklin would go for this at his own 30-yard line.
And this is a great play on the left side by Jalen Snead, number 3. Just completely cuts things off, forces it back inside where he has plenty of help with his teammates. That's a play they ran earlier with success. They converted on a 3rd and 2. And this time Freeman makes the adjustment and they get the stop.
In the first half, for a lot of it, that defensive front was pushed off the ball. That time they controlled the line of scrimmage. Riley Thompson's punt, the fair catch by Max Hurleman, 40-yard boot. Momentum on the side of the Irish in the college football playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl. Overhead on a clear and cool night here in South Florida with the temperature in the mid-50s. Notre Dame 202 total yards, 127 on their last 2 drives. A field goal in the first half, a touchdown drive to begin this half.
2 very different ways of going about their business. The drive led by the backup quarterback Angeli exclusively through the air, and that last one, 7 out of the 8 plays they ran on the ground behind that offensive line.
Riley Leonard out of the gun with Jadarian Price, the running back. Here's Jordan Faison. Good run after the catch by the lacrosse star at Notre Dame. Back in his hometown. He's from Fort Lauderdale, just down the street. An 11-yard gain.
They need to get him going here in the second half. Did have 1 catch at the end of the half, but only 1 catch is not enough for your top target since November 1st. They need to continue to look in his direction against man coverage.
Price stacked up after a 1-yard gain and driven back by Kobe King, the junior from Detroit. Second team all Big Ten this season at linebacker.
Kobe King, you talk to this defensive staff, they just cannot say enough great things about how he's developed as a player. He's always been great at that right there, stopping the run. They believe that he's taken the next step and can play on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down with how athletic he's become.
Midway through the 3rd quarter, which is moving briskly. Price remains the running back on a delay. He's in trouble, and it's Abdul Carter there. Carter missed only 1 snap in the entire first half. He was off the field for 3 of the 8 plays run by Notre Dame on that touchdown drive, and the Irish took advantage with 52 yards gained on those 3 snaps. 3rd down and 10. They're 5 out of 8 on 3rd down.
And Leonard's got to be mindful of this pass rush that he's going to get from Abdul Carter. That's been giving them problems on the right side in long yardage situations.
Short throw dropped. Not an accurate throw off the hands of Evans. And Carter again putting some pressure on. He's slow to go off the field.
He's engaged trying to go dip and rip, and it's that left shoulder that is injured, and he lands that time on it with big Emil Wagner at nearly 300 pounds landing on top of him.
James Rendell to punt. They came after him, put some pressure on Zion Tracy. No fair catch, and he got flattened right on the catch. Luke Talich, special team standout for Notre Dame. Sports. Visit touchdownforteachers.org for more information. This week, the Orange Bowl Committee broke ground on a $2.3 million renovation of Walt Frazier Park right down the street here in Miami Gardens. Penn State trying to get back in an offensive flow. That's a good way to start. Tyler Warren drags Xavier Watts with him. Out to the 37-yard line, 22 right out of the gate for Drew Aller, who wants to get them lined up quickly.
With Notre Dame selling out against the run, quick play action will be helpful.
Deep handoff, Nicholas Singleton. Chopped down after he reached the 40 by a Don Schuler. 3 yards for Singleton. And they go very quickly. Aller sidesteps the rush. Got back to the 40, and that's it. No gain. Drake Bowen there for Notre Dame. Aller from the Cleveland area. Grew up a big Cleveland Browns fan. And facing a big third down here. Third down and 7, 5.5 to go in the third quarter.
It's a big one here, so I'd be looking in the direction of number 44, Tyler Warren. He's lined up inside, might see some motion, but that's the matchup you want to create.
Notre Dame, one of the biggest blitz teams in the country. They rush 5 and they get there. And Aller still on his feet. Got away from Viliamu-Asa, but could not escape Rod Hurd. And some pushing and shoving after the play. A couple of the Irish players pulling each other away to make sure they don't get a stupid penalty after they force a fourth down with their first sack of the night for an 8-yard loss for Penn State.
Well, they bring pressure off the left, which is well protected, which forces Aller to slide just ever so slightly to his left, where Viliamu-Asa is there to grab him and eventually bring him down.
Riley Thompson drives one. Max Hurleman made the first 2 miss, and he gets upended just shy of the 30-yard line. 48-yard punt, 9-yard return. Al Golden, a Penn State graduate, happy with that sack for Notre Dame. Monday night NFL wildcard weekends capped off by an NFC matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. Megacast coverage begins at 8 on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Deportes. Peyton and Eli are on ESPN2 and Plus. Pregame coverage at 6 on ESPN with SVP and the Monday Night Countdown crew. And due to the wildfires in Southern California, that game has officially been moved to Glendale, Arizona. And we continue to think about and pray for our friends in Southern California dealing with that horrific situation. Mitchell Evans on first down, lunges for the line to gain, settles for 9. Kobe King was there for the Nittany Lions. And Mitchell Evans signals to Eli Rarin and his backup that he needs to come out of the game.
Yeah, it's been a heavy lift so far for Mitchell Evans. That's 8 targets, 5 catches, and They like that matchup with him against these safeties and linebackers if they're going to play man.
We mentioned similarities between these two teams. Neither group has a great wide receiver core. Penn State doesn't have a catch by a wide receiver tonight. Notre Dame has 5. And most of them very short throws. Riley Leonard just trying to get the first down. And he did not. Mike Denbrock with the play call on 3rd down and short. Abdul Carter looking on from the sideline. Play clock is stopped and the officials are conferring. Well, it looks like they're going to measure for a first down. Don't see much of that anymore.
I think it's appropriate in a game where it feels like a slugfest and every inch is earned. Why not do a little throwback chain measurement here in the 3rd quarter?
About 6 inches short. Marcus Freeman will turn 39 tomorrow. Trying to be the youngest coach to win a national championship since Danny Ford won it at 33 with Clemson back in 1981. In order to have a chance to play the winner of tomorrow night's game between Ohio State and Texas, they have to beat Penn State tonight. And the winner of this game, the winning coach, will be the first black coach to play for a national championship in the history of this level of college football, dating back 150 years. Both coaches aware of that history, but both have said it's all about the team. 5 out of 9 on 3rd down, Notre Dame. Leonard, no surprise. And it looks like he has the first down. Penn State players saying no, but he extended that ball across the line to gain for a first down.
A little bit chaotic there on the sideline as they were trying to get motions and shifts, and that clock was running down. So good job by Leonard forcing his way across the line to gain.
And to go back to that history we were talking about, Marcus Freeman said he's aware that it's important, in part because he hopes it will lead to other opportunities for black coaches. Leonard had to pull it down, and he gets on the ground with a 2-yard loss. He also pointed out because his mom is from South Korea, he'd be the first Asian coach to coach in the championship game.
So impressed with him as a young coach, his ability to relate to the players and all that he's accomplished in a short period of time, while making sure physicality and toughness is at the forefront of everything they do. It's really impressive what he's built in South Bend.
Won 8 straight games against ranked opponents, trying to make it 9 tonight. On the delay on 2nd and long, Jeremiah Love. Back to the 40. They need to get across the 48. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Carter back on the field in this seemingly passing situation.
They'll start with Evans, their tight end, split out wide down here to the end. And he's going to be covered by a corner. That's number 4, A.J. Harris. That tells the quarterback zone coverage more than likely. So probably looking somewhere in the slot.
Blitz coming from deep. Leonard just enough time. And the catch made. Jaden Greathouse at the 43-yard line of Penn State. A big play made by a wide receiver for a 17-yard completion. His 3rd catch of the night. Had just 1 for 6 yards in the win against Georgia. Leonard running away from Vanover and running for about 5 yards, out of bounds at the 38.
And just a great job on the play a moment ago. His running back gets beat inside. Riley Leonard can't follow through. The ball's wobbling a little bit, but to maintain your accuracy when you cannot follow through is so difficult on the quarterback. That was a great job by Riley Leonard and a terrific catch by Greathouse.
Final seconds of a third quarter that's gone by very quickly. Notre Dame trying to take its first lead of the night. Love, by his standards, a little mini leap on his way to the 35-yard line. They are in field goal range as the quarter ends. Tied at 10 in the college football semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Coach, at the half, you told your team don't panic. How do they continue to attack, especially to finish this drive?
They're built that way. They're not going to panic. These dudes got to be aggressive. What we've done is had success running the ball, and that's opened up some things in the pass game. And then defensively, we've done a good job of getting them off the field and forcing them to punt. So we just got to continue to go. We're not going to panic. We're going to be aggressive, and that's the only thing we're going to do.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
15 yards rushing for Marcus Freeman's team in the first half. They had 55 yards rushing in that third quarter. Third down and 2, first play of the fourth quarter. Jaden Thomas taken down at the 16. The wide receiver took the handoff and went for 19 yards, just his second carry of the season.
Well, that's just Notre Dame recognizing a couple ways that Penn State has hit them. They've hit a couple jet sweeps and end arounds on big critical downs. That time, they hand it to Thomas on the end around jet sweep, and it's a nice play. 19
yards. Jadarian Price, the running back. Eli Raridan, the backup tight end, still in the game. He went in motion. They throw it toward him, and a flag down as Kobe King grabbed a hold of Raridan. Raridan's a junior, 9 catches all year, playing behind Evans.
Pass interference, number 41, defense. First down, Notre Dame.
And they are going to take advantage of this matchup all day long. As you can see, Kobe King, number 41, never turns around to try to play the ball. He's grabbing at the left arm of Eli Raridan. Can't do that at all. They have targeted King over and over and over again in the passing game with great results. Until Penn State finds an answer, they're going to continue to go after 41.
Is it Riley Leonard time again? First and goal from the 2. Irish trying to take the lead. He handed it off to Love, who stays on his feet. Love is in the end zone. Playing on an injured knee that has clearly hampered him in this playoff. Powered his way into the end zone. And Mitch Jeter trying to make it a 7-point lead with 14:07 to go. 17 unanswered points for Notre Dame as they go 72 yards in 10 plays.
Well, it was all effort from Jeremiah Love. He said no hurdling, broke his rule right there. He just refuses to go down, going against one of the best defensive players in the country, and Abdul Carter, who goes over the top, continuing to keep his balance and driving and stretching across the goal line. As you can see it from the AT&T connected cam, this is all effort from the incredible running back of the Fighting Irish.
At least 4 defenders got a piece of Love. None could get him down before he got in the end zone. Notre Dame by 7. He had rushed for a touchdown in all 13 games prior to their win against Georgia in the quarterfinal. That was the longest such streak in Notre Dame history. He was the only player in the country who had rushed for a touchdown in every one of his team's games this year. So it's 14 out of 15 in the end zone with a rushing score for Love. And now Penn State, which looked so smooth early, needs to find the offense that it displayed at the start of the game. Mitch Jeter to kick off. Singleton makes a fair catch. The college football playoff national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. They handed out on January 20th, a week from Monday in Atlanta. 4 schools left with a chance to hoist it. All 4 of them have won national championships, but the most recent by any of this great foursome, the title by Ohio State in 2014, in the first year of the college football playoff. Drew Allar's 7 out of 15 for 81 yards. They come out with a play action pass. Looking for Warren. He runs into it. And a big play across midfield. They go to their best player. 2 defenders are trying to get there. Warren is slow to get up on his own sideline after a 27-yard gain.
And how about the throw by Drew Allar? Just an amazing job of layering the football. Number 24, Kaiser's in pretty good position, but he just floats it right over the top as Warren's going to the sideline and nailing his head as he goes to the ground. A scary scene over there, and hopefully their outstanding tight end is okay.
He has 5 catches for 72 yards, 103 catches this season. First round draft choice, certainly, and the top tight end in the country. We're going to take him to the tent. Penn State at the Notre Dame 48. And it's pitched ahead to Khalil Dinkins after the fake. And Gabriel Rubio and Kingston Viliamuasa were not fooled. Officially a pass for a 1-yard gain on the completion to Dinkins.
And Andy Kotelnicki, they haven't had a lot going here in the second half offensively, but what they have had are a couple of big plays to their tight end Tyler Warren down the field. At some point, they got to unleash Drew Allar. They have to throw it over the Notre Dame defense's head because they're playing way too close to the line of scrimmage to challenge it deep.
They still have not completed a pass to a wide receiver. Allar, the design run for him. It looks like another Penn State first down to the 38-yard line. It is on a 9-yard run.
This would be the spot I'd be thinking about that. I'd be thinking about, hey, first down, maybe second down, run it on first down, then on second down, heavy play action, throw it over their head because their speedster, Amari Evans, not currently on the field.
That's the Allar family. His dad, Kevin, scratching his shoulder. Mom, Don, was wearing the glasses left of your screen. Lots of bodies around the ball, and it's a wide open Khalil Dinkins. That's reminiscent of the first half. Some creative design and well executed. 20 more on the completion of Dinkins, who had 12 catches all year. He's had 2 on this drive. And Warren is coming back in after a quick visit in the medical tent.
That's a good sight to see right there. Is see so many 44 jerseys, that being Warren's family. Incredible player, and glad he's okay.
Allar 3 for 3 on the drive. Katron Allen, lots of running room. Trying to bounce outside. Irish fans screaming for a penalty. They thought Christian Gray was being held. Adon Schuler wound up making the tackle, and it's a 10-yard run.
Let's take a look. Yeah, that right hand there by Julian Fleming pulling the jersey of Christian Gray. That probably should have been a hold right there.
Clearly a hold, according to Matt Austin, our referee, who's in the booth. But not called, and it's 1st and goal from the 8-yard line for Penn State. After squandering a 10-0 lead, trying to tie it. Allen, not much, running to his left. Rubio and Billy Amu-Asa combining on the stop for Al Golden's defense. Coaching against his alma mater tonight. We asked about the connection to Penn State, where he was a fine tight end and later coached for Joe Paterno. Said zero emotional expenditure from him with a thought toward Penn State, his affection for his alma mater, but not in his mind at all. Trying to stop this Penn State drive. 7th play. Singleton bottled up for a moment and winds up in the end zone. Second touchdown for Singleton, and an extra point away from a tie.
And this is just a great job by the left side of the offensive line, in particular number 66. Drew Shelton just completely pushes Notre Dame defender way out of the way, which allows Singleton to cut back against the grain where he has momentum and falls forward into the end zone. Terrific response from the Nittany Lions.
Stagnant for quite a while. They go 75 yards in 7 plays, and Ryan Barker ties it. Singleton, 62 yards rushing in the game, and like Love before him, determined to cross the goal line. The Dandy in the first college football playoff semifinal of this new 12-team format here at the Capital One Orange Bowl. 10:20 to go. Each team has had the lead tonight. Penn State once up 10-0. Watch Notre Dame score 17 straight points, and now the Nittany Lions with a huge drive to tie the score. Gabriel Wosu will kick off. Jaden Harrison back deep. 4 career kickoff returns for touchdowns, but that one's too deep to try it.
Time for Now What? Moments presented by Prudential, and it's the last drive. What an answer. And the drive start doesn't get much better than that throw over the top of Kaiser into the awaiting arms of Warren. And then the throwback after getting all the misdirection, getting the Notre Dame players run to the right. You find Dinkins in the flat to the left. And how about the cutback by Singleton, who sees the entire left side of his offensive line disappear, and he powers forward for the game-tying touchdown. Just a terrific answer from Penn State.
And Drew Aller stepped up. He's 6 for his last 6 now, after a 4 for 12 start. The ball's in the hands of Riley Leonard. Given plenty of time, and he throws an interception. Denied. Dennis Sutton dropped into coverage and picked it off. That's about the best protection Leonard has had all night. And he threw it right into the hands of Sutton.
And it's a great job by the defensive end, who's not often used in coverage, 260-plus pounds. Ryan Leonard thinks he could get it up and over the top to Evans. He cannot, because of the length that you get from 6'5" Dennis Sutton. Just way too aggressive from Riley Leonard, because if he gets it over the top, still probably a huge blow up on the sideline and a huge mistake from the veteran quarterback.
Penn State +2 in turnover margin tonight with 2 interceptions. They haven't turned it over. Best starting field position of the night, with momentum having shifted back to the Nittany Lions. And Katron Allen knocked down after a 5-yard run. And they're right on the verge of field goal range now. James Franklin talked in the last round about turnover margin being the most important stat, as he said, since the beginning of time. The only time Notre Dame's lost the turnover margin all year was in their loss to Northern Illinois. They've been either even or plus in every other game this year. But -2 tonight. Aller, lots of time and too high and out in front of Harrison Wallace III with Leonard Moore in coverage. And a big third down because this is borderline field goal range here for the redshirt freshman Barker, whose long is 49 and who tried only one all year from beyond 50.
You might be thinking 4-down territory here depending on how much you pick up on 3rd and 5, so they can run it right here. Don't be surprised if Drew Aller uses his legs if they have a friendly box defensively from Notre Dame.
Allen shifted back to his right hip. They picked up pressure up the middle. Aller does run the ball, has the first down and more. Got banged around and kept on going to the 24. 11 yards for Drew Aller.
And it's all made possible by the terrific block of K-Tron Allen, who just engages with Osbury immediately on the blitz. Aller runs right behind it, and there's plenty of green grass as number 34 Drake Bowen's dropping back in coverage. James Franklin has got to love the effort there from his big quarterback on the ground.
He's become more of a runner, and an effective one at that. All day to throw. Throwing for Warren, and that one's intercepted. Jack Kaiser picked it off. There's a flag down inside the 5-yard line. Warren was behind the defense. The ball floated a bit. Kaiser picked it off, but there is a flag. And it's going to be a pass interference call against Marcus Freeman's team. And he has a wry smile for the officiating crew.
Pass interference, number 0. Defense, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And he's familiar with this crew. It's the same group that worked the game against Georgia.
They said number 0, but I think it's number 8, Schuler, who never at any point turns around to try to make a play on the ball. That's a good call by the official. The Notre Dame fans hate it, but you cannot make contact with the receiver and not turn around and try to make a play. I know Kaiser's waiting for the interception, but that's the correct call against Schuler.
Let's get Matt Austin's thoughts really quickly, Matt. Good call?
Yeah, that's a good call. When you're not playing the ball and the receiver has to reach back over the defender to get to it, that's definitely pass interference.
Crowd doesn't like it. Some debris being thrown on the field, the reason for the stoppage.
It's now 2 defensive penalties against Irish defensive backs that have wiped out interceptions. And I think both calls, much to the chagrin of the Irish faithful, were correct.
Huge call. Would have been a turnover. Instead, it's 1st and goal. They're at the 9-yard line. 8:42 to go in a tie game. Allen ahead for a couple, where he's stopped by Drake Bowen.
Have to wonder a little bit with Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator, where's his quarterback psyche? He just threw an interception, was bailed out. Do you trust him as the field now is condensed to drop back and throw it again? I'm not sure I do. I lean on this offensive line in this run game to see if I can't power my way to the end zone behind the best part of my team so far tonight, that offensive line.
Eight minutes to go. Singleton! His 3rd touchdown of the night.
And the left side of the offensive line will get all the credit, but you got to look at the right side in the center. Look at number number 72, Nolan Rucci, who reaches Rubio, secures him off, walls him off just enough to allow Singleton to slip up inside. That was a great job on the backside of the offensive line, allowing that run to spring free for another big score.
Penn State scored the first 10 points of the night. Notre Dame scored 17 in a row. And now 2 consecutive touchdowns for the Nittany Lions, and Barker's extra point makes it a 7-point lead. 3 touchdowns for Nicholas Singleton. And it was set up by the call against Schuler, which wiped out the interception by Jack Kaiser. And they capitalized and lead by 7 with under 8 minutes to go. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear for the past 100 years. If it's a big event, the Goodyear blimp is there. It's a big event. It's the college football playoff semifinals in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath, and Katie George are on the sidelines. Drew Allard taking advantage of a second opportunity, and his team punched it in the end zone. These teams have responded to each other. Can Riley Leonard do it again? Will the dangerous Harrison get a chance to return to kickoff? Gabriel Wusso is a touchback kicker ordinarily. Wusso runs to it. And Harrison's going to try it. Why not? 4 career kickoff returns for a touchdown. He ran into one of his own men, and that got him stumbling after he collided with Max Perlman.
Tonight's Good Hands plays are brought to you by Allstate. A big mistake by Riley Leonard. Too aggressive. Thinks he can get it up and over the top of the 6'5" deny Dennis Sutton. He cannot. And then a couple plays later, Jack Kaiser thinks he has an interception to flip momentum back in favor of the Irish, but the pass interference on Schuler wipes out the pick, and then Singleton pays it off a moment or 2 later. Just a big sequence there for Penn State. Riley Leonard inside his own 20, needing to get something going offensively.
And they open this possession with Jadarian Price as the running back. Penn State defenders creeping closer to the line of scrimmage. And they bring pressure. And it is the nose tackle, Zane Durant. He didn't need help from the blitz. He got penetration and dropped the play for a 4-yard loss.
And they are without, remember, they're without their starting right guard and their left tackle. This time it's just a bust up front. Pat Coogan thinks he's working on a double team. Nobody's there to block Durant. And this is the result of the injuries to the linemen earlier in the game.
Catch made. Jaden Greathouse trying to get to the line to gain. They're going to spot him out at the 26. An 11-yard gain. 3rd down and 3 for the Irish with 7:09 and the clock running remaining.
Massive down here, considering Penn State's already put together one 7-minute touchdown drive earlier in the game. Here in a gotta-have-it situation, I'm looking in the direction of my most reliable target tonight, and that's Mitchell Evans. He's lined up here at the end of the line of scrimmage, probably trying to help the tackle, but he's the go-to guy in the passing game.
Saw Anthony Knapp, their starting left tackle, in street clothes on the sideline. Leonard started a run, then dumped it off for Greathouse for a 1st down. And we should point out, Tosh Baker, who came in at left tackle and is still in there, played 60 snaps all year. And Charles Jagusaw, who's come in at right guard, had not played an offensive snap all year. He had played 6 special team snaps against Georgia after missing the entire year with a torn pec. So with 2 backups who have barely played, Notre Dame's actually fared better on offense with them in the game. On 1st and 10 with 6 minutes to go. Carter gets there again. Leonard just got it off. Kobe King lost his helmet on the tackle, so he has to go off after a 6-yard completion to Jeremiah Love.
Last couple snaps, Riley Leonard's done a really good job keeping his eyes downfield. He's had to move in the pocket a little bit. He's had to get off his #1 read in the progression. And he's finding answers on the underneath passing game by buying time moving in the pocket.
Play clock on 40, please.
We're adding time on the clock. By the Leonard's family, mom Heather agonizing. He wears the number 13 for his dad, Chad, who wore that in college as a basketball player at the Citadel. Leonard grew up a Notre Dame fan. His great-grandfather played there in the 40s, living out his dream and hoping for the dream ending. He runs for a first down to the 45-yard line where Zakee Whitley made the stop. Wheatley's had another good game. Under 5.5 to go.
Now understanding the importance of all these downs, and coordinator Mike Denbrock taking a picture of the defense, making the perfect call by giving a look back to the sideline.
Late toss to Love. He goes up and over. Said he wouldn't do it because of the knee. He's just hurdled somebody in the 6th different game this year. And that one got only 2 yards. My goodness.
He broke his own rule. I mean, this young man's incredible. And way less than 100% on that right leg. Goes up and over the top of the outstanding Kobe King. And
took off on the left leg.
I mean, he just floats in the air, man. Incredible.
Under 5 minutes to go. 2nd down and 8. Penn State leads by a touchdown. Leonard throws wide open. Jaden Greathouse avoided Jalen Reed and scores. 54 yards.
Well, you're going to see Cam Miller engaged with Greathouse in the slot, and as Greathouse goes to the outside, Miller just falls down. As a result, Greathouse has nothing but room out in front, makes a guy miss, and is out the gate. Just a terrible time to slip on the grass for Miller, and a big play for the Irish.
It's the 2nd touchdown of the year for Greathouse. Sophomore from Austin, Texas. 6 catches for 95 yards tonight for Greathouse. The extra point has tied him. He had 29 catches all year, 6 tonight. That's a career high, as are his 95 receiving yards tonight. Another response by these teams, and we're tied at 24. .438 to go in the semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl. After the game, the Ram Trucks post-game interviews and highlights. And the Capital One bank guy getting the trophy ready. And that's how he's known. Right? He was at a Capital One event last night, and they introduced him as the Capital One guy. We'll also bring you the Capital One Orange Bowl MVP and trophy presentations. Well, for a long time, neither team could score. The first 3 quarters, there were 20 combined points here in the 4th quarter. Each team has scored 14. Defense is dominant early. Now they can't get a stop. Mitch Jeter to kick off. 3rd tie. There have been a couple of lead changes. It'll be a touchback. 2 traditional powers looking for their first national championships in a long time, and this one's a classic.
It is phenomenal. I mean, it has not been a game that we anticipated here in the 4th quarter being 24-24. I'm thinking they're at least for a moment maybe race to double digits. You know, now the lids come off the end zone and they can't seem to find any problems moving the ball. It's really been impressive too, the response from both teams. I mean, as soon as one secures momentum, the other makes a play and gets right back into it.
Drew Aller's heated up. Well, before they can snap it on this possession.
10, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Singleton called for the penalty.
Singleton right next to Aller, just leaning forward ever so slightly, and you'll see he even says, "My bad, man." He even taps on his chest right there and says, "I'm sorry about that." Good call.
So 1st and 15. Aller dumps it off for Singleton with some running room. Run down from behind by Jack Kaiser. Playing in his 69th career game, the Notre Dame record, doesn't want it to be his last. 10 yards for Singleton, 12 after the catch. He caught the ball behind the line of scrimmage.
That's one thing I think that this Penn State offense hasn't done a lot of yet. They've tried, but Aller had a couple key misses. The running backs' involvement in the passing game on this drive and moving forward in this game could be paramount, knowing that those linebackers are probably starting to get a little gassed.
Both running backs on the field together. Singleton survived the collision behind the line of scrimmage, but did not get the first down. Junior Tui Alamaka made the tackle after Jalen Sneed whiffed. A gain of 2 and an enormous 3rd down and 3 with under 4 minutes to go.
Before they even break the huddle, you already know what Andy Kotelnicki, the offensive coordinator, and Drew Aller's thinking. In this situation, it's players over plays. So who are you going to look in the direction of? It's big number 44, one of the best players in America, Tyler Warren. He's your guy on 3rd and 3.
They send him in motion. And Notre Dame sends a couple of defenders. They send Kaiser on a blitz. It was picked up. Aller being run down and stopped at the line of scrimmage. Pursued by Kaiser, and it was the freshman Bryce Young who got Aller on the grass. And no hesitation from James Franklin. This part of the field, he's not going for 4th down and a long 2.
That was terrific coverage by Notre Dame in the back end. Tried to work Tyler Warren, threw a little rub and a pick. Notre Dame wasn't fooled. They covered it up and dropped Aller, forced the punt.
Riley Thompson punts. He's been one of the best in Penn State history, averaging more than 44 per punt. End over end, and a fair catch made by Max Hurleman. Notre Dame will start at its 24 after a 44-yard punt. Here are the numbers we referenced. Offensive struggles. Mike Denbrock leaned heavily on the run coming out to start the 3rd quarter, and his team has found a rhythm. Singleton on his way to game MVP honors should Penn State win on the offensive side of the ball. And Riley Leonard's been Riley Leonard. As Aller watches when his team has needed it most, he has stepped to the forefront.
It's absolutely imperative here. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Need a field goal. You obviously want to kick it as the clock goes to 0, but you have to account for the pass rush of Abdul Carter at the top. He can take over the game.
Price with a lot of running room gets 8 on 1st down. And how do you play it, Greg, if you're Notre Dame? Are you in a hurry, or do you just want to get into field goal position with as little time left on the clock?
Not in a hurry yet. You have 3 timeouts at your disposal. At this point, you have your whole offense open to you. No need to play urgency ball at the moment.
Remember, Notre Dame was the worst field goal kicking team in the country in the regular season when Jeter was injured, but he seems to be fully healthy. He says he is, and the performances have backed it up in this playoff. His career long's 53. If it comes down to that, he's already pondering that possibility. 2 minutes to go. The winner goes on to play for a national championship, and the loser suffers an excruciating loss.
Greg, back to you. What a finish on tap.
Amen, Scott. Yes, Ohio State and Texas have a tough act to follow. 2 minutes to go in a tie game. 2nd and 2, Notre Dame. Love trying to turn the corner. Taken down a yard short of the 1st down by Denai Dennis Sutton and Devon J. Thomas. Sutton's interception, just the 2nd of his career. Big play in this game. Notre Dame tied it moments ago on their longest pass play of the season. That touchdown pass to Jaden Greathouse. Third down and 1, a minute and a half to go. Of course it's Leonard. He has the first down at the 36, agonizing for Allard.
Now you got to start to pick up the pace a little bit if you're Notre Dame, but there's an injury to Jalen Kimber, the corner for Penn State.
Kimber transfer from Florida.
There is no option for a 10-second subtraction.
His first year at Penn State. He started his career at Georgia.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 minute 26 seconds. Following the first down, we stop the clock under 2 minutes.
One thing you're always thinking about as a quarterback is as soon as you see a defensive back, a corner in particular, go down, first thing that goes off in your head is, all right, who's the backup and how can I attack him? So Riley Leonard needs to be thinking about that. Now that Jalen Kimber's out of the ball game, how can I create a matchup against a corner that hasn't played quite as much, considering their best cover corners currently on the ground getting attention?
Well, when we talked to James Franklin the other day, he mentioned he thinks they have 5 really good corners who rotate him pretty regularly. So Kimber replaced by somebody they have faith in. Riley Leonard has 213 yards passing tonight after just 90 into it against Georgia. And he's rushed for a touchdown.
The guy that'll be replacing Jalen Kimber will be number 9, Elliott Washington. He's lined up here down at the bottom in press coverage.
They're at the 36, 1:22 to go, all 3 timeouts. Leonard, there's a flag down, and Leonard's down back at the 33-yard line. Abdul Carter has been a factor all night long, playing with that injured shoulder. And what is the flag? Notre Dame players indicating it's against Penn State, and they're walking it off.
Hands to the face, number 28, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Huge call against Zane Durant. It takes them across midfield.
And that right hand way up into the face of the right guard, Charles Jock, you saw, and that's a good call by the official, wiping out a sack. And now if you're Riley Leonard here in plus territory, you got to be thinking, hey, they might start to bring some pressure, so anticipate blitz, maybe go with a screen or something quick that gets it out of the quarterback's hands.
Jeter getting ready. They're not in field goal range yet. His career long's 53. Leonard stumbles away from the rush, takes off running, and runs out of bounds with a gain to the 44. We talked with Mitch Jeter last week at Media Day in New Orleans. He said his career long's 53, but he feels like he could get out to about 58 yards. The wind is not an issue. He's an experienced kicker, 2 years as the starter at South Carolina the last 2 years, and now here at Notre Dame this season.
If that's the case, I mean, you're already right on the edge of field goal range, and you see the Penn State defense all walked up on the line of scrimmage, sensing the urgency, feeling the need for a negative play.
Here's pressure right away off the corner from Zion Tracy, and Carter pursued Leonard to the boundary, and Riley just did throw it away. Boy, Tracy on the corner blitz was there in a blink of an eye, and Leonard did well to avoid the sack and a loss. But now it's 3rd down and 5 with under a minute to go, 1 second under a minute, and each team with all 3 timeouts left, and not in field goal range, you would think, from here.
And that's the pressure that you would have anticipated on 1st down. It comes on 2nd. They did not have an answer for it. Now you got to be thinking pressure again.
Are you surprised they're dropping back and throwing?
I'm not. I like dropping back and throwing, but I need a screen. I need something quick. Faison down here at the bottom of the screen. Get it to him and see if you can get some blockers out in front. Get the ball out of Riley's hands quick.
They've converted 8 of their last 9 on 3rd down. They're 10 of 14 for the game. 1:01 to go now with the time on the clock. Faison, the motion man. Leonard steps up. He's in trouble and sacked back at the 49
That's just brutal. It's really only a 3-man rush, but it looks like a lot more than that as the left tackle, Tosh Baker, gets beat inside by Vanover. Riley Leonard really doesn't have anywhere to go because they're using Abdul Carter as a quarterback spy, and then they just collapse with Izzard on top.
I'm surprised by the consecutive pass plays here. You know, they're a team that's rushed for more yards this year than they've thrown for. That's been their calling card, including the quarterback Leonard. But with 2 subs in there on the offensive line, they're dropping back and trying to throw it when they're very close to field goal range.
I don't have a problem with throwing it, but I don't like the decision to try to throw it downfield. It's got to be quick. It's got to be screens. It's got to be things that are bang, bang right out of Riley Leonard's hands. They didn't go with that. They went with standard drop back, and that gave the Penn State defense way too much time to collapse on the passer.
So 4th down and 9, and Notre Dame you'd think would punt. This would be the most daring fake punt of all if Notre Dame tried another one from here, with Rendell punting and Tracy on his 10-yard line. Penn State has a couple of timeouts left. Tracy, fair catch, 15-yard line. So here's Aller. How do they play it with 47 seconds to go? Are you aggressive or are you cautious?
I'm aggressive. I mean, I got 2 timeouts. I feel like the momentum's been back and forth. The quarterback, for the most part, all season long, his whole career, Drew Aller's made good decisions. He's got 50-plus touchdowns, only 9 career interceptions. He's not likely a guy that's going to put the ball in harm's way. I trust him. I think he can do it. And I would empower him in this situation to drive him down the field for a game-winning field goal.
He's 11 for 20 for 139. They start with a handoff to Singleton. He has a lot of running room. He has a first down. And he's out to the 28-yard line. The clock will stop for a moment to move the chains. They have a redshirt freshman kicker, Barker. They keep putting time back on the clock. The game clock operator not stopping it quickly enough when these first downs are picked up. 84 yards rushing. There's Barker. As long as 49. Aller hit as he throws, and it is intercepted. Christian Gray picks it off.
There's an interception. First down, Notre Dame.
They got aggressive, and it has blown up on them as they turn it over for the first time tonight. Snead came on a blitz.
And it was a huge mistake by Drew Aller. Wants to work left, works all the way back, and you can never throw late over the middle. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You want to make a play for your team, but you cannot throw it blind from that far away. And Christian Gray, just like the USC game, delivers one of the biggest interceptions of his career.
If it stands, it's his 3rd of the season. They're reviewing it to make sure it was a catch.
That is so out of character for Drew Aller, who always seemingly makes great decisions. But here, Gray, it does look like it's secure. It looks like both hands are underneath. And I'd be surprised if this call isn't confirmed.
Gray's a sophomore from St. Louis. The teams from time to time have looked like they've gone after him. But the coaches say he's had an excellent year, and it's hard to argue. They're 5th in the country in pass defense entering tonight. They lead the country in takeaways. That's their 32nd when it stands. And it certainly looks like it will. Brad Van Vark is the replay official. Here's the verdict.
After review, the defender had his hands under the ball with firm control. It is confirmed. First down, Notre Dame.
So 33 seconds. All 3 timeouts for Notre Dame. And they're not far from field goal range right now. I think they would try one from here with Jeter, even if they didn't pick up another inch. But they'd certainly like to get closer.
And I think you got to think run the football here. You drop back to throw it. The pass rush got home. Got to be thinking run here for the Irish.
And it is, and it's Leonard. Leonard up the middle. Tripped up by Zaki Wheatley at the 37. From here, about a 54-yarder. Timeout, Notre Dame.
One thing that now Marcus Freeman can also acknowledge here at some point is, hey, we don't want to score too quick here. So if you break free,
well, I think they're playing for the field goal. Right? They're going to run a couple more plays and try to kick it on 4th down if it works out that way,
right.
Or get another 1st down and kick it on what they hope will be the last play.
But if you break free, and right there, Riley Leonard wasn't far from potentially squeaking there and maybe finding a lot of open space. So remind your guys here, no need to score a touchdown. If you need to kneel on it at the 3-yard line and we take a couple more knees, no problem. Do not find the end zone here to give Penn State a chance to go down and potentially tie it with their own touchdown.
Even if you could break free and score from here, because where they are right now, this is far from a gimme field goal. So you're saying run down close and stop.
Yes, get down to the 5-yard line, slide down on your behind, kneel it 3 times, force them to use the timeout to kick the game winner from about 25 yards away.
Oh, high snap. Leonard fielded it. Leonard battling for all he can. Stood up by Kobe King. They got 2 more. Another timeout with 23 seconds to go.
Notre Dame has called their second charge timeout. 30 seconds away.
They don't dip into the portal much, but Leonard came from Duke. And Mitch Jeter came from South Carolina. Only 13 players out of the portal this year. But they are the 2 men at the forefront right now for Notre Dame, trying to get them into the national championship game. The 53 was for South Carolina against Georgia State a couple of years ago. It would be just about that, maybe a yard shorter. I asked him in media day, do you care which hash mark? He said no. We're on the right hash right now.
Notre Dame, I just continue to run the football, and if I'm Penn State, I'm getting as many guys up to the line of scrimmage as possible.
I think they try to run it in the middle of the field if they could. Leonard's going to throw it into a crowd. Greathouse the catch. A great night for Greathouse. They're at the 25-yard line. And now they're in comfortable field goal range after a 10-yard gain. Leonard gets them up there quickly. And he spikes it. What do they gain from that?
Well, they get to preserve that last time out, because if, God forbid, you got tackled and you had to run the hurricane field goal situation.
Well, wouldn't you just ask Jeter right now, where do you want the ball? And have Leonard move the ball to that position in the field. Freeman waving Mike Denbrock away as he was going to make the play call. So 16 seconds to go. It's 2nd down and 10.
I anticipate them trying to center it now.
Yep, they tried to center it at the 25, about a 42-yard field goal from there. And the clock stopped again by Penn State. Each team has 1 timeout left. My guess would be Notre Dame would
Penn State called their second charge timeout of the half at 14 seconds. 14.
Snap it one more time, use their timeout, and then James Franklin will try to ice the kicker with his timeout, and the stage would be yours, Mitch Jeter.
I think you just run something right up inside. At this point, 42-yard, nothing's been a guarantee for Notre Dame's kicking unit, but of late and in the postseason, it's been terrific for Jeter and company. So something very high percentage right up inside, maybe a quarterback sneak. It's something that would not expose the ball carrier to potentially having the ball ripped out.
He looks like a guy who's about to try the biggest field goal of his life. You saw the nugget. No kickers made a field goal in the 4th quarter of a college football playoff game, and this the 11th year history of the event. They get him a couple of yards closer. The timeout called by Penn State.
Penn State has called their 3rd and final charge timeout at 12 seconds.
So they want to preserve some time. You have to kick the field goal now if you're Marcus Freeman because it's 4th down. So James Franklin's thought is, okay, if he kicks it and makes it, at least we're going to have a chance to touch the ball.
With Drew Aller's arm, I mean, he can throw it a really long way. So a Hail Mary for Penn State, unlike most teams, is alive from probably as far away as your own 40-yard line.
So Mitch Jeter, the last 2 years at South Carolina, he was 23 out of 25 in field goals. Had a year left, graduated with a degree in biological sciences from South Carolina. Came to Notre Dame. Why wouldn't you to finish your career? His dad looks on. Graduate student from Salisbury, North Carolina, to give Notre Dame the lead in the final seconds. 41-yard attempt. Snap and hold are good. The kick is good! They were the worst field goal kicking team in the country in the regular season. But Jeter, healthy, recovered from the groin with the help from his dad, Andrew, the chiropractor. This is what he's dreamed about his whole life. Dad is remarkably calm, isn't he? Made sure he captured the picture. And then celebrated with his wife, Stacy. And for James Franklin, in desperate search of a big win, it's unlikely it's going to come tonight. The rising star Marcus Freeman, 8 seconds away from playing for a national championship in his 3rd year as the Notre Dame coach. Read a couple articles this week, Greg, that said Marcus Freeman's managed to make Notre Dame likable to people who haven't liked them.
He has done a tremendous job.
When they lost to Northern Illinois, they were in a situation where they basically had to win every game. They've won 12 in a row. They're 8 seconds from 13. Marty Biaggi is outstanding special teams coach. And he's a touchback kicker. You just kick it out of the end zone, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Make them find a way to do something with 8 seconds from their own 25. Singleton won't try to return it. So 8 seconds, no timeouts for Penn State. Drew Aller, last time on the field, threw the critical interception.
Really, the only chance you have here, if you're Andy Kolomicki, the offensive coordinator, is you have to take a trip to Lateralville. At this point of the field, there's no way your quarterback can heave it that far. So what can you dial up from a lateral standpoint to give one of your outstanding weapons some room?
Aller throws it away. Using half the time they had left, perhaps the last play. Don't think even Riley Leonard could have imagined this, especially after the Northern Illinois game when he really struggled. His confidence was gone. 3-man rush. Aller, here come the laterals. Warren lateraled it off. Harrison Wallace sends it back to Aller. And that's out of bounds and ends the game. Notre Dame has won the Orange Bowl, and Marcus Freeman is taking them to the championship game. It'll be their first appearance since they played Alabama here and got throttled. Singleton was magnificent with 3 touchdowns. But the Penn State season